Hello, my name is Bob Hill, and I am the president of the Church of Scientology, Mission of Riverdale at 308 Broadview Avenue in Toronto. This is our second Sunday service delivered during the coronavirus disease 19 restrictions. Sadly, we are not able to meet face-to-face as is usual in our services. So we have prepared this video for our parishioners and anyone else who is interested. To recap our last sermon, we talked about the importance of keeping well with hand washing, social distancing, personal protective equipment, and disinfecting surfaces while keeping active with productive schedules, keeping your morale high during this time of social distancing. We're going to start today's Sunday service with the creed of the Church of Scientology. We of the church believe that all men of whatever race, color, or creed were created with equal rights, that all men have inalienable rights to their own religious practices and their performance, that all men have inalienable rights to their own lives, that all men have inalienable rights to their sanity, that all men have inalienable rights to their own defense, that all men have inalienable rights to conceive, choose, assist, or support their own organizations, churches, and governments, that all men have inalienable rights to think freely, to talk freely, to write freely their own opinions, and to counter or utter or write upon the opinions of others, that all men have inalienable rights to the creation of their own kind, that the souls of men have the rights of men, that the study of the mind and the healing of mentally caused ills should not be alienated from religion or condoned in non-religious fields, and that no agency less than God has the power to suspend or set aside these rights overtly or covertly. And we of the church believe that man is basically good, that he is seeking to survive, that his survival depends upon himself and upon his fellows and his attainment of brotherhood with the universe. And we of the church believe that the laws of God forbid man to destroy his own kind, to destroy the sanity of another, to destroy or enslave another's soul, to destroy or reduce the survival of one's companions or one's group. And we of the church believe that the spirit can be saved, and that the Spirit alone may save or heal the body. Now, the next thing I'm going to read to you, I want you to keep it in mind as I'm doing the sermon. It's called Personal Integrity, and it's written by L. Ron Hubbard. What is true for you is what you have observed yourself. And when you lose that, you have lost everything. What is personal integrity? Personal integrity is knowing what you know. What you know is what you know. And to have the courage to know and say what you have observed. And that is integrity, and there is no other integrity. Of course, we can talk about honor, truth, all these things, these esoteric terms. But I think they'd all be covered very well if what we really observed was what we observed. That we took care to observe what we were observing. That we always observed to observe. And not necessarily maintaining a skeptical attitude, a critical attitude, or an open mind. But certainly maintaining sufficient personal integrity and sufficient personal belief and confidence in self and courage that we can observe what we observe and say what we have observed. Nothing in Dianetics and Scientology is true for you unless you have observed it. And it is true according to your observation. That is all. So as I said, keep that in mind as I'm doing today's sermon. The topic of this Sunday's service is the meaning and importance of religion during these challenging times. Scientology is a practical religion, and it is for use to improve situations like the ones in society as we are currently faced with. Scientology teaches a person how to know. That's what the word means, knowing how to know. The first thing to know is the meaning of words. Understanding words makes it possible to learn and survive. The definition of the word religion is this. The word religion means a study of wisdom. A religion has a belief in an ultimate reality, such as the supreme or eternal truth that is above the material world. Examples of this would be a belief in God, in the immortality of the soul, the spiritual importance of codes of conduct, and an understanding of spiritual matters. A religion has religious practices directed toward understanding this ultimate reality, and a community or group of people that join together to pursue this ultimate reality. For many religions, this week and month are a very special time of the year when the past victories of the human spirit over suppression and even death are celebrated. Today is Easter Sunday, the greatest celebration in the Christian religion, as it is the completion of the Holy Week that ends with the resurrection of Jesus. It celebrates the beginning and foundation of Christianity, as it represents Jesus being raised from the dead, and it means that Jesus conquered sin and death. It is also the week of the Jewish Passover, April 8th to April 16th. It is a celebration of spring, of birth or rebirth, the journey from slavery to freedom, and taking responsibility for yourself, the community, and the world. It celebrates the Israelites' departure from ancient Egypt after a plague which killed many in ancient Egypt. This took place before the birth of Christ. The word Passover comes from God passing over the Jewish homes during 10th plague in the Old Testament and sparing the oldest firstborn sons from death. Passover and Easter are tied together in that prior to his death and resurrection, Jesus entered Jerusalem and gathered his disciples to celebrate the Passover meal. In the Islamic faith, Ramadan starts on Thursday, April 23rd, and ends Saturday, May 23rd. This is a time of spiritual reflections, fasting, self-improvement, heightened devotion, and worship. The month celebrates when Allah gave the Prophet Muhammad the first chapters of their sacred religious book, the Quran, in 610. So that is some of the history of religious celebrations going on. Although we cannot congregate in our churches at this time, small groups and families and the internet make it possible to still celebrate and pray. Now, I'm going to use a book written by L. Ron Hubbard to give you some practical advice that you can use during this religious time. The book is called The Way to Happiness, a common sense guide to better living, written in 1982. In The Way to Happiness, there are rules explained for happy living. We all want happiness, and this book is a guide. If one's aims in life are worthwhile, if one carries them out with some attention to the precepts in this book, The Way to Happiness, if one flourishes and prospers, one certainly will wind up the victor. We all want victory over this disease, and we all want to flourish and prosper. Most of us have more time to study and learn and put into perspective what is important in life and it's a good time to have a better understanding of relationships and social situations. When our restrictions are lifted, we can just create a renaissance or a rebirth of a better life and culture. In chapter 18 of The Way to Happiness, we are encouraged to respect the religious beliefs of others. Respect is a way of treating or thinking about something or someone. It is the act of giving attention or consideration to someone or something. You don't interfere with their feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions when you have respect. You admire the goodness in the person or thing and treat them well. Tolerance is willingness to accept behavior and beliefs that are different from your own, although you might not agree or approve of them. It is the allowing of something. It is being patient, understanding, and accepting of anything different. In this chapter, Ron Hubbard says, tolerance is a good cornerstone on which to build relationships. When one views the slaughter and suffering caused by religious intolerance down all the history of man and into modern times, one can see that intolerance is a very non-survival activity. Religious tolerance does not mean one cannot express his own beliefs. It does mean that seeking to undermine or attack the religious faith and beliefs of another has always been a short road to trouble. Any advice one might give another on this subject is safest when it simply asserts the right to believe as one chooses. One is at liberty to hold his own beliefs for acceptance. One is at risk when he seeks to assault the beliefs of others, much more so when he attacks and seeks to harm them because of their religious convictions. You got that one? Good. Men without faith are a pretty sorry lot. That's a group that is in a poor or pitiful state. They can be given something to have faith in, but when they have religious beliefs, respect them. The way to happiness can become contentious, full of conflict and battle, when one fails to respect the religious beliefs of others. So, feel free to practice your religion at this difficult time. Call or FaceTime your friends and family and admire their religions and beliefs. In ending, I will read you the prayer for total freedom, written by Mr. Hubbard. This is the Scientology prayer for total freedom. May the author of the universe enable all men to reach an understanding of their spiritual nature. May awareness and understanding of life expand so that all may come to know the author of the universe. And may others also reach this understanding, which brings total freedom. At this time, we think of those whose liberty is threatened, of those who have suffered imprisonment for their beliefs, of those who are enslaved or martyred, and for all those who are brutalized, trapped, or attacked. We pray that human rights will be preserved, so that all people may believe and worship freely, so that freedom will once again be seen in our land. Freedom from war and poverty and want, freedom to be, freedom to do, and freedom to have. Freedom to use and understand man's potential, a potential that is God-given and God-like. And freedom to achieve that understanding and awareness that is total freedom. May God let it be so. Now, in ending, you can get a copy of the booklet, The Way to Happiness, a common sense guide to better living, by emailing Riverdale at Scientology.net or calling 416-792-1889. And we also have free booklets on how to stay well. In summary, continue to cooperate with the federal, provincial, and municipal handlings for COVID-19 while you stay productive and improve your relationships with others. Join us next Sunday when we will discuss introversion, looking inward, and extroversion, looking outward. As a preview, it is important to look outward as much as possible. So go to your windows, look out, see the beauty in the world. Have a great day. Thank you.